Hello, everybody. Welcome to Alien Addict. We have a slight change to this evening's programming. We were supposed to be joined by Investigate Earth. Unfortunately, they have come down with a sickness. They have got down with this sickness and they cannot come on the show. So I wish them a speedy recovery. Hope they feel better. And I hope we get them back on the show soon because it's been too long and it's always too good speaking to those guys. The stuff I'm usually going to talk about, we got t-shirts. You can go buy the t-shirts. They are not going to be around much longer. I had a brainstorming session for new stuff. You are going to love the ideas we have for new t-shirts. A couple of them are hilarious. I don't even think you're going to buy them, but we're going to do it because it's a really good bit. So we're just going to do them. I want you to go do the liking and sharing and the subscribing of whatever you happen to be watching us now on. I want you to go and subscribe to our podcast, the Alien Addict podcast. It's on all platforms, apart from Amazon, which is still being a bit funny with us. But everything else we're there. I recommend you listen to us on Spotify. I like the podcast app on Spotify. I think it's the best way to listen to podcasts. But we're on everything. If you are listening to this audio and you're listening to this after the fact, I want you to give us a big old fat 5-star ratings. Don't just listen to me say this and go, oh, do that. I'll do it after it's finished. Right. Hit pause immediately and go and do it now, because that's the only way. It's the only metric that matters to podcast apps. That's what gets us on like the suggested feed. You'll if you listen on Spotify, you'll notice that sometimes it just plays you a podcast that you haven't subscribed to. That's how they do it, because if enough people have liked those podcasts, they then ship you out to other people that might like the show as well. So that would mean so much to us. Like if you can't afford to like super chatters or become a channel member or anything like that, then the podcast is a really good way to support it, because obviously we get ad revenue for the podcast, and we can also, without the ad revenue, you can just help us by giving a 5-star rating. Very important. Now, the reason you should go and listen to the podcast is that just this morning, we did part 2 of our special with Bart Sabrell. You will have seen part 1. You will have seen the aliens part. His new book is called Aliens from Planet X. This show we recorded this morning is a podcast exclusive, so you can only hear this if you go and get it on a podcast platform. And it is Bart Sabrell part 2, where we talk about Planet X and his theories around Planet X. We talk about a bit of moon stuff. There's even bits about what's going on in the world right now, including like the stabby and stuff like that. It was a really good show. Like the fact that we've managed to do 3 like distinct podcasts with somebody like Bart Sabrell, I think is incredible. You know, we did the moon one that kind of everyone that spoke to Bart's done, but I think we got 2 quite unique interviews with him, and this one was especially unique. And you can listen to that right now on the podcast app. That's just up there waiting for you to do it. Just pick your phone up as you listen to me speak, type in Alien Addict, subscribe to it, and you can listen to it tomorrow while you're at work. Anyway, that was a lot of selling. That was 5 minutes of selling, in fact. I'm sick of selling, and I'm ready to bring in something a little bit cheaper. David, how you doing?
I'm a deal. I'm a deal.
Did you enjoy my sales pitch? Did I hit all the beats?
Could have used a little more enthusiasm.
I mean, I'm pretty enthusiastic, very enthusiastic about money. In fact,
No,
let's be honest, if I was enthusiastic about money, I wouldn't be doing a conspiracy podcast. That's not where it is.
Yeah, me too. No, man, I'm good. I'm good. I've been absent for quite some time. Had real things going on, but I'm back.
I'm glad we missed you on the show. I'm exceptionally glad you're back today. Ollie isn't with us this evening because he had to get up awfully early this morning, and he's like,
I thought he was looting at the mostly peaceful protest that's going on outside his home right now.
I mean,
acquiring new goods.
Incredibly peaceful protest. I think you'll find that's going on.
Mostly peaceful.
Yeah. So no, Ollie's got a bit of the tired, and he's a bit gay, isn't he? So
yeah. Well, I mean, he's getting new shoes out there. He's wearing that balaclava.
Yeah.
Can't knock him for that. That new TV looks fantastic. Those jumpsuits he's gotten, fire. I think he's hitting the purse place next.
It's for a fact Ollie will be we don't have or maybe we do have it now, have it over here now, but you have Victoria's Secret in the UK. The sex shop.
Sex shop.
Kind of.
You sell lingerie, right?
And dildos.
Like bras and no. Victoria's Secret does not sell dildos.
Oh, you see, we have a thing called Ann Summers, which is a bit like Victoria's Secret, but they sell loads of dildos as well.
I feel like that's a pretty big difference. I feel like that's
it's
like an entirely new product line. That's it's like
I took it for granted. I took it for granted that Victoria's Secret was just Ann Summers and they probably sold dildos. But what I was trying to get at is that's probably the shop that Ollie's raiding right now.
Nah, he'd be after the used and returned. He wouldn't be after the new.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm sure there'd be a section. See, the good thing for him is like he could keep some of them internally when he's stealing them. He doesn't need to carry all that stuff.
Going after the secondhand sex toy shop. Gently used.
So, well, do you know what?
Smells almost normal.
It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be a good jumping off point for the podcast, Dave. But it unfortunately is. Things are a bit fucking wild in the UK right now. Bit wild, Dave. And we called this show Endgame because I just feel that since the I mean, realistically, I think you can track the craziness that's gone on since like 9/11. I think 9/11 was the beginning of whatever it is. I'm sure other people would argue that maybe it was the assassination of JFK, but I'm going to go from like our lifetimes. And this has been like a slow build up to COVID. And now it's just gone fucking haywire since then. I'm confused. I don't know where it's going to go. I don't know when it's going to stop. I don't know how it's going to stop. It feels very Hegelian dialectic what is going on right now.
It's going to end with people getting crucified from light poles. Like where else does it go? I'll tell you one thing. Bet you guys are wishing you had a gun right now. Americans and their guns. Ooh. Yeah. Everybody's on the same playing field. Good guy and bad guy. Everybody's the same here.
Yeah. I can have a Nerf.
Can you? Can you get the permit?
Yeah.
What's the waiting period?
You're not allowed to keep more than like
allowed?
It's about 20.
Are you allowed to use it in the purpose of self-defense, or is that a crime?
Yeah, it's about 20, and we banned the automatic Nerf guns last year.
Did you really?
No, we didn't.
I was like, no, my God. I mean, I totally wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. I just saw a picture of displaced persons. All right, a refugee in a window, clearly harmless, holding what appeared to be a B&T submachine gun.
Oh,
That was pretty interesting.
yeah, it's not ideal.
I don't think that bodes well.
It's really not ideal. None of this is ideal. I mean, we keep getting to, and I'll be dead honest. I had this conversation with somebody last night. I think we should. I think we should look at all aggressive protests. We'll say the same. And one of the things I've found hilarious, actually, just because that part of my brain that gets tickled when I see the world burning. I think it's hilarious that
that's an erotic aphrodisiac to some people.
It is a shame, isn't it, when you consider like we were the culture that invented dueling, where gentlemen would fall out with each other and then shoot each other to death, like organized.
Yeah.
And how did we turn to this? But anyway, I think it's funny to watch people that only a few months ago were taking photographs of themselves bending the knee with a fist in the air for solidarity with BLM, while BLM were burning American cities to the ground.
Yep.
It's hilarious to watch those same people demonize the like the rioters right now as far right, like Nazis, because it's the wrong, because the rioters happen to be of the wrong political persuasion for them. Like, can we not just say destroying our own cities, regardless of who it is? It's probably not the best move.
I don't know. Well, let's see what the long term looks like. Might be the best move. Might be the best possible outcome. Diversity is our strength. We're moving forward through understanding we have to remove the white patriarchy. These are all problems brought on by the racists themselves.
I mean, how you've no idea how quickly our live just shot up the YouTube algorithm.
Just gained 30 people.
Just like overnight.
Holy shit.
Oh, we double monetized.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Everything is on fire everywhere. Right now, I've definitely said it here multiple times in the past. I've said it other places as well. It's coming to the point that you need to be certain of where you're at. If you're in one of these places and you're like, my city's on fire, you knew your city was going to burn. You knew things were getting bad. You saw the writing. You chose to ignore it. Right? And now it's sinking. Like when things were happening in the U.S. out in, Seattle or Portland or San Francisco, those places have been shitholes for a while.
Oh, Chad. Now. Don't forget Chad.
The Chaz zone.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's Seattle. It's the Olympia. It's so like everyone knew it was going that way. That didn't shock anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So you stayed through it. You didn't leave. You didn't get out in time. I have nothing for you. If you still live in like Baltimore, nah, man, some of the places are still good. You just got to stay away from anywhere that isn't the main wharf area by the water. Everywhere else of this city is a nightmare with dead bodies and homeless and unbelievably aggressive, just crime. Yeah, that's where we're at. It's where we're at. And I don't know what cities that would equate to in the UK, but I would bet these places that are getting burned in these cities, these downtowns that are getting torn apart, they've had problems for a long while. This isn't anything new. It's been simmering for a while, and now it's running over. It's running over the edge.
Yeah, I mean, I'm quite insulated from the UK. Insulated, isolated, one of the two. Yeah, you're pretty good. Just quickly, there was a great thing when Donald Trump was first elected. It was a friend of mine tweeted it, and it's one of the greatest tweets I've ever seen by a human being. Um, and there was a riot in Liverpool because Donald Trump was elected, and the my friend Kit Nelson, it was, uh, tweeted, shocking scenes today as a protester threw a traffic cone at newly elected President Donald Trump, missing him by a mere 3,869 miles. But
It's the absurdity of that goes like, I don't know why it's a weird topic transition, but the problem other countries and peoples have with America, like most Americans during these Olympic Games have found out Australia doesn't like us and apparently has a massive problem with Americans. No American anywhere knew that. This is a 100% one-sided problem that we could care less about. Like they never enter our thought, but apparently we're living there rent-free. It's very strange time. So like the in the cone, while that guy's tweet is legendarily hilarious, it's honestly not far off the mark though, right?
oh
Like,
yeah,
yeah,
it was
it's
ridiculous.
yeah.
It's I mean I have a big problem with any country chastising another country for voting in a certain direction, because like you're not there, you don't know what's going on. It's in the same way as where I live, and I know there's a lot of people um that are looking down their nose at what's going on in the UK right now. I've no idea. I've no idea what it was like to live in Liverpool for the last 6 months. No
Mm.
idea what it was like to live in London. I just see things on the news. So who am I to judge who's right and who's wrong if I'm just sat on this hill throwing my unsolicited opinions out on the
I don't
internet?
know. It's pretty easy to judge when 20 dudes are beating and stabbing someone to death. That's
Oh yeah,
I think we
yeah.
could sit and judge on that, or they're burning private businesses that
It's
have
not
nothing to do
ideal.
with whatever's like it's,
Lawman Man 37's got a good comment here. Do you think it's more on fire, or does the internet now just let us see it? I think it's more on fire.
me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, me
Um,
too.
I get the point, but
Yeah.
I just think there's been a like a simmering. I think the other thing to take into account is, and we never think of these things. It's in the same way as if anyone's read The Madness of Crowds by Douglas Murray, he he's boiled like the beginning of the woke movement down to still undealt with issues we had from the 2008 financial crash.
Mhm.
I say like people haven't processed what went on there, and it just sort of came and went, and it's that sort of when something big happens. Like I think there's still probably a lot of people in the States didn't process or haven't processed what happened like during 9/11 like yet. And with that in mind, we have to remember that it wasn't long ago that we were all locked in our fucking houses for months.
Whoa, not all of us.
Not all of
You
us.
people.
No, well, to be fair, we did all right over here again on the small island. It wasn't we fucking escaped. We escaped a lot of it. The UK basically got locked down for an entire year.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
remember
I
talking to
mean
Ollie doing
that's
that. Yeah.
yeah. That's
It's
that.
crazy.
People lose jobs. People lose families.
People lose
Like
their
things,
minds.
their minds, relationships break down. And I've oddly enough, before the riot started in the UK, I happened to be driving along through town with my girlfriend, and we saw like two people arguing with each other in the street. And I said, like, it seemed before COVID, it seemed like everyone kind of walked around at maybe a 5 on the anxiety chart, and now like everyone kind of just sits at 8.5 at all times.
They're waiting for the next thing to drop because they know inherently somewhere in them that,
It's
like,
coming.
honestly, what I'm seeing here, and I've looked into the UK thing. It seems most of this sparked off with that stabbing at the dance studio, right? The kid who did it, the 17-year-old or grown man, whatever. You know, he was in a Doctor Who commercial.
Was he really? That's wild.
Yeah, like you start looking into them particularly, and it's like, ooh, this has some weird earmarks to it. And if I'm a conspiracy
Well,
theorist, and I am a conspiracy theorist,
well, we wouldn't be here if we weren't.
that's the kind of person you send up to do something heinous like that to spark something off when you know it's a powder keg. Because what's going on ushers in new draconian restrictions, new laws of control, new access to you personally, your phones, your accounts, more cameras, more watchers, more laws.
The fact is Doctor Who's interesting because that is Doctor Who is a product of our state-funded television channel, the BBC, which is I genuinely believe is one of the most evil companies in the world. Certainly, one of the most evil organizations in the UK. I hate the BBC with every single fiber of my being.
Dude, the kid who took a shot at Donald Trump was in a BlackRock commercial.
He was in a BlackRock commercial. Also, they've used the cookies on mobile phones. You know how you get your tracking cookies.
I'm super aware of that. Yeah.
Yeah, and was it CIA or FBI had several visits to his house?
It was they don't know who, but they know the person went into a building that was adjacent to the FBI headquarters. Now, those adjacent buildings are usually shared offices with other intelligence communities and or like station houses, whatever, operation centers. What depends on the floor, depends on the room. But it was something 100% government people. You know, there's photos of him going to the range with someone who looks like a FBI agent and a rifle, like showing him how to, you know, make things happen.
See, I'm almost convinced that in the coming weeks and months, there will be some sort of intelligence ties that go back to the family of that kid that did the stabbing. I'm convinced of it. I could be proven wrong. I could be 100% proven wrong. And I have nothing but the fact that I am clearly a radicalized conspiracy theorist. But I haven't missed lately. Since COVID, I've had more hits than misses when it's come to this stuff. And it becomes quite easy if you when you talk about this stuff for long enough, I think it becomes quite easy to see round corners before you get there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, here's a good question. It says, Dave, are you moving out of the city? I don't live in a city. I wouldn't live in a city. I live in a rural community. And I live around all my friends, and all my friends are armed, and we all know each other, and we know the chief of police, and we know the officers, and we know the sheriff and mayors and city council people. Like it's all about being ingrained. It's about being someone that's controllable, because this is the mythos, right? The mythos is I'm going to disappear into the wilderness and everything's going to be fine. That is not true. You are not going to be fine in the wilderness. If you look at like when Argentina broke down, or even
bears are in the wilderness.
Yeah. Or we do have bears in the wilderness. If you look at when Argentina broke down, or like what's going on in South Africa, being isolated and rural is unbelievably dangerous. That's where a group of armed men come out, keep you and your loved ones, and they just take their time. There's no rush. No one can hear you. No one's coming. You want to live around someone who can at least see your house, see your stuff. You know, I just came back from vacation and some other stuff that I can't talk about for legal reasons. And, you know, I have friends checking in all my stuff. I have friends that are watching it and checking it every day, and I trust them. Things like that are what you need. You know, something goes bump in the middle of the night and you think someone's whatever. I can give a quick text or jump on my little radio if it was bad enough and alert all my friends, and it's me and 8 other dudes showing up with rifles, like, and it's quick. That's what you need. But yeah, living in like a major metropolitan area, you're doomed. You're doomed. Like humans were never meant to live that way anyway. Get out of there.
See, we have a similar situation in the UK, but like we'll rock up with maybe some Magic the Gathering cards. I've got a pretty good mage. I'm looking for an archer, but yeah, it's exactly the same.
Yeah, things are different over there. I mean, you guys got wizards and stuff. I know. They maybe get an amulet to stop the magic. I don't know. Escape portals. What they do in Harry Potter? Does that stuff work? But
I fucking hope so, because I do. I've got one of those ones in the living room.
Wingardium Leviosa. Shit, I said it wrong. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's things over there. It's interesting to watch them, but things here in the U.S. are also getting ready to get spicy, because no matter how these elections play out, no one's going to accept them.
Must admit, I thought because I foresaw what's going on in the UK happening at some point, but I thought it would be from the US spilling over into the UK, because what happens in the US tends to wash up. By what happens, I mean just the temperature of the times tends to wash up on the shore of the UK eventually, because it's like people might not like to admit it, but America is where the culture comes from now. It's the cultural hub of the West. So whatever happens in America, it spreads. I'm surprised that the violence has started in the UK the way it has done before. I mean, I know, yeah, you had the BLM thing, but I don't want to say that wasn't politically motivated, but it wasn't because it was 100% politically motivated and financed. But it didn't have like that sort of revolutionary air about it, where you just thought, oh, how far is this going to go, and when is it going to stop? The BLM stuff was obviously going to come to a point where it wasn't useful anymore, and they just they turned it off because George Soros didn't want to keep paying for it. The thing is with the UK problem, people have been put in these boxes for so long, and it's the funny thing about the UK is nobody's actually anti-immigration, and that's the thing, and it's something that's completely lost on the left wing, because whenever people talk about like stopping immigration, they're going to say, well, if we stop immigration, like the country ceases to work in like 3 months or something like that, because we do import a lot of talent. But the thing is, nobody's calling for a ban on immigration. We just want to stop the illegal immigration. That's what it is, and that's the left gaslight people into thinking that people don't want any immigration, because it always comes down to like, well, who's going to do healthcare? Like a large portion of healthcare workers in the UK are like foreign nationals, and like nobody's saying like let's not import nurses and doctors and things like that. It's the people that are paying 10 grand a head to sneak into the UK. That's what people have the problem with, and that's what hasn't been allowed to be spoken about since Brexit, since that happened. Like even after that, it's just become this polarizing topic where even just trying to have a conversation with someone, unless you happen to be speaking to someone that you're a really good friend with, that's also like, regardless of political opinion, is just a decent dude to talk to. it's a zero-sum game because nobody walks away from that conversation better.
It's sticky. It's a sticky situation. Like in America, it's illegal immigration is definitely right now. We're in the middle of a crisis. We're in a heavy crisis. I don't know anyone that's anti-immigration. I know people that are stop flooding across the fucking border for free healthcare and handouts. And
it's the same thing.
We have countries in South and Central America that are dumping their prisons across our border. You know, it's a major problem. Eventually, these problems thin out. Either the law enforcement shoot them or citizens shoot them, but it gets dwindled down. You all don't have that solution. Like yours is just building into critical mass. So I don't know. That's a different cultural problem. I don't know how you deal with it. You have your elected officials in government that are threatening the loyal subjects of the crown for defending themselves and being angry and outraged that people who shouldn't be here are hurting their people and are destroying their towns and destroying their businesses. So the people who own the businesses, the people who live in the towns, the people who were born there, the people whose families are from there, the people who are invested there, the citizens of there, the subjects, because it's right. The subjects of the crown are, hey, this can't stand. You need to do something. And their response is, we're going to come down on you, you piece of shit racists. What? Like you can look right now. I'm watching video feed right now of the UK law enforcement standing idly by while people are beaten and attacked by these groups of, migrants. It's what it seems to look like. And then I can scroll easily up and find another one where people are meeting that same crowd and the cops immediately rush in after them. And it's like, who's going on? So in this quick analogy right here, people are like, it's the politicians at the top and that's what we need to focus on. I would argue it's the guy enforcing the will of the state. Because what the state says doesn't matter if no one's there to enforce it. That's the quick problem. Like that's the problem you have to address right now. That's your problem, right? It's the neighborhood snitch.
DW's put a good comment up here. I want to bring up because you might not have a huge input on this, but I've got thoughts on it. Do you think there's a possibility that Tommy Robinson is a state asset? I believe that Tommy Robinson is on the BlackRock, World Economic Forum, Soros, whatever you want to say, payroll. I think he is. It's one of those things where, depending on which way you look through it, it can make a lot of sense. But he is in. What's the best way to put it? Lots of the stuff that's going on right now is that sentiment comes from a very Robinson-esque mindset. And I don't think that's an accident. I think he's an agent provocateur doing a job. And I found it very telling the other day. He went after. Do you know who Majad Nawaz is?
Nope.
He was on Joe Rogan a couple of years ago. And he, to this day, I believe, put the best sort of roundup together. He did it on Rogan about the World Economic Forum. He's then since sort of built on his theory about what the World Economic Forum is, and he's come to the conclusion that the Nazis didn't win the Second World War. They just changed their tactics and they infiltrated countries. The whole like Project Paperclip thing, set up the CIA, that sort of thing. And he believes that the World Economic Forum is the head of what is the modern day Nazi party. I believe that what's going on in this at the moment, because think about it. Think about this like sensibly. Let's go from everything that like the progressive left and far left have pushed in. Constantly getting told that we're going into, but that we want a communist state. Nobody really wants communism apart from fucking idiots. We see all this crazy stuff going on with gender. We see them going after kids. We see the climate protesters stopping ambulances getting to hospitals, stopping people getting where they want to go. None of this stuff actually garners support by the majority of people. The same with illegal immigration. Not just saying, having your politicians stand there, essentially going against the will of the people, going, no, it's fine, like it's our strength. We move forward. We build a better now on this. I don't believe the World Economic Forum are a far left progressive organization. I think this tactic is to gaslight people into electing hard right parties and growing hard right parties, and you can see that happen in the UK. I believe that, like, Nigel Farage and the Reform Party in 4 years' time, which like people turn around and say, oh, it's not they're not right wing, they're hard right, but they are hard right. They're harder right than the UK has had for a long time, and I believe that's the end goal, is to slowly have hard right governments take over, and that's when you can start turning the screws on authoritarianism. And that's what I think I'm almost convinced the end game is for this, is they've destroyed think about it, like the left-wing Labour Party, which was like originally put there for like as a workers' party. That's destroyed, and it's turned into this almost fucking Californian type left wing. It's that people think it's been dragged more to the middle now, and it probably has to a certain degree, but we'll see how far that goes. I just don't understand how public opinion is people won't accept this extreme left wing stuff because it's going to affect people negatively. And then, like, we know this, when people get scared, they vote right. It's happened all the time. People get scared, they vote right, they vote conservative. And that's where I think we go in 4 years in the UK. I think we will see a almost Mosley-esque like party come out from whatever reform is at that point,
like V from Vendetta.
Mm-hmm.
The party that arose, like it was all orchestrated with the virus and the protests and the riots, and then they went hard right.
Yeah.
What's the difference between what's coming and actually what already exists, though? Where that is, like, what more could they take?
I think they could enforce it. That's the difference.
I don't know. I can see that, and as a conspiracy theorist, I definitely respect it. And I think, as a conspiracy theorist, everything's on the table, right? Everything's on the table. But that is a level of organization and execution that is on a scale that is unbelievable, right?
Yet it's what seems to be happening, because that's the thing. These far left organizations are funded by somebody, and they're funded to fail.
Yeah. No, I don't think they're funded to fail. I think that the people who fund them are funding short-term plays. What are the stock markets going to open at tomorrow?
Maybe.
You know what I mean? What's going on here? What's going on there? It's when people pull out plays like that, they're usually pretty short-term. I could definitely be wrong, like 100%. It's 100%. I also think that there's this natural cycle to things that we need to take a look at, because I think most of our problems, it's just me, right? It's just me. Most of our problem isn't flesh and blood problems, right? They're not flesh and blood problems. They're these cyclical powers that we don't quite understand, and we try to pretend aren't really there, that lend a heavy hand and influence into high places of government and corruption. And they just seem to go on these cycles. Whether it's the every 80 years thing or whatever, the turning, the fourth turning.
Fourth turning.
Yeah. whatever. Hey, there does seem to be historically this kind of things get good, everyone's making money, things are doing well, then a society, it can afford to be a little more loose and liberal and open, or however you want to see it. And then moral decay, corruption comes in, corrupts the heart, breaks things away. There's barbarian invaders that are sometimes welcomed in or brought in or whatever. There's people with grandiose plans that they can control what they've brought in. They can't. You can't control a plague. You can't control a pack of animals. It's not something you can do. And then everything burns and it starts again. I just feel like we're in one of those cycles. We're just in one of those cycles.
There's two comments here. I'll answer this one quickly because it was just a quick question from Marcus Fishlock. Thank you for being a channel member, by the way, sir. Klaus's dad was a high-ranking Nazi. That is 100% true. It's not bullshit. But up here, James had said they already filtered out the non-compliant in military with COVID. Yeah, but the other thing that it's done, which is what I've been thinking today, I will put like a good old chunk of a bet on the fact that the people that right now, which are doing like the peaceful protesting, I bet there is a high count of unvaccinated people within that group of people doing that. So have they isolated the people that would stand up, or have they just found the people that they go, right, these are the motherfuckers we need to steer the way we need them want to go, because these are the guys that are actually going to do something, they're going to stand up. So
maybe
we need to make sure that we move their chess pieces the way we want them to go. That would be the job of a Tommy Robinson.
Maybe. He could also just be a natural reaction to the situation and the problems at hand. Someone who sees Alex Jones sees an opportunity. And through that, I mean, Alex Jones definitely has government connections. He definitely there's some kind of input back and forth at whatever level that is there. Mm-hmm. Maybe one day we'll get there.
Ooh. I think Alex Jones is like, as crazy as it feels to say this now, when you think about Alex Jones, say like 15 years ago, where you just turn InfoWars on and it would be him turning red, screaming at a camera about globalists. I still get it wrong. I still think he has a scream in him. I think he is a much more reasonable human being than Tommy Robinson is. I think Alex Jones is more authentic.
I don't know anything about Tommy Robinson. I only see the clips that he posts on X. That's about it. And I agree with some of his sentiments, at least from like a national perspective, right? You should care about your people. You should care about your country. You should care about getting invaded and having your culture ripped apart. That's the thing, is immigration is to immigrate to your culture. Like they come in, they adapt. That's part of wanting to be there. And there's a filtering process. You take away that and you don't know what's coming in. It's a wildfire. It's definitely interesting times, man, because things are on fire everywhere. As Americans are watching this here, everyone here in America is in this weird media kind of silence. Someone tried to kill Donald Trump. Somebody shot him. All evidence points to the Secret Service and FBI being complacent, if not a large part of making that happen and facilitating it, as well as covering it up. There's so much cameras, so much angles. Like they tried to pull off a 80-year-old plot today, and it didn't go so well.
What credence do you give the he was never shot in the first place?
It's crazy. People were shot definitely behind him. They were in the line of angle. I get that. Like people are like, oh, it's the same thing as like he had someone shoot him in the ear. These are people who don't know about ballistics or when bullets fly. There is no one in the world. I know some great marksmen. I would never stand downrange and let them even shoot near me.
No,
that's insane. That's insane. It is a level of insane that people who say things like that have no experience with firearms. They have no idea what they're talking about. They don't know how oddly things can happen and behave and just go wild. right? You just don't. There's a reason that there's rules involved. There's a reason you treat every firearm as though it's loaded. There's a reason you know your target and your backstop, right? You're always aware. You always point it down range. You never flag anyone. You never point anything you don't want to kill or destroy. It's, you know, there's just these basic rules, and that's because I've been around firearms enough, and I've definitely been to enough ranges that I've seen freaky things happen. And even they could say, oh, this guy's 99% chance that he's going to be able to nick your ear, or he's going to fire by, and we're going to fake it. No. It doesn't track. It sounds crazy. It's right up there with the Q conspiracy stuff that, you know, Barron Trump's this time traveler that's going to bring back JFK Jr. and they're going to rule the world from a tower of light. It's
no, that's
nuts.
real. I have it reliably from a TikTok that guy with the hat in the background.
It's got to be them then. Yeah,
that was JFK Jr.
Yeah, it's just there's so much craziness going on. And it's a crazy situation, right? It's a hard to believe situation that somebody could do that, because I think that's a natural reaction that it was faked, because even the people that are on the left who hate Trump and are against him and think that, you know, they wish the guy would have aimed better or whatever. They're like, oh, he was obviously faking it. He smeared it. Of course, that's the reaction, because when they hear the details of the situation, even their mind goes, that's absurd. Security would never be that lax. They would never let that happen. And yet they did.
Do you know what I enjoyed the people that turn around and say about the first of all, there's a couple of things. The people turn around and say, oh yeah, well, you never would have got that photograph. Think about the amount of photographers that would have been down there in that pit. You know, I bet there was loads of pictures of his jacket, just as bloody like kneecaps. There would have been a load of people taking a load of bad photographs, and one motherfucker just got really lucky and took the perfect photograph. So I have no issue with the photograph thing happening. The other issue that people have is the fact that the Secret Service allowed him to stand there when they didn't know if there was an active shooter, but they allowed him to be shot in the first place. So
here's the thing. That wasn't Secret Service.
Oh, was it like a mixture of?
It was Homeland Security,
right? And there was some local law enforcement involved as well.
What's that?
Yeah, there was local law enforcement as well, wasn't there?
Yeah, but the local law enforcement were the ones trying to get the feds to act. It was a conglomeration of like U.S. Marshals, Homeland Security, and their intelligence wing, which who fucking knew that even existed. That's a new one on me. Yeah, there's this whole amalgam. I think there were only 4 Secret Service agents present. Like the people you saw up there, the woman who everyone's making fun of, she's Homeland Security. She's a glorified cop. That's what Homeland Security are glorified cops. They're, you know, I mean, even FBI, unless they're SRT or HRT, whatever they, you know, hostage rescue or whatever, those guys are really well trained. The rest are not. That's just is. There's very select groups of people that actually, because training's hard and it takes a lot of time and it's a ridiculous round count. And it's this huge investment in people who can be good at something. But this came up. Does Dave think Trumpy win election? And if not, what happens then? I don't think anyone will accept the results one way or the other. I think Trump's on a freight train that can't be stopped. I think they're going to pull some shenanigans. I'm not convinced that the election is going to happen in the U.S. I think we're in unbelievably dangerous water. That's what I think. Yeah, so that's something to think into with Trump. Like that wasn't. In fact, what was it? Biden's wife was at an indoor event, and she had 12 Secret Service security people posted to her, a person. Trump had 4 for an outdoor event, and none of them were near him.
Yeah,
none of them were on principle. So that's insane.
Fucking Biden, like personally, like refused.
Yes,
RFK Jr.
Yes,
RFK Jr. twice.
Well, it wasn't Biden, right? It's whoever's handling Biden.
Yeah.
But here's one.
Oh yeah.
Someone said he should have hearing damage. I believe they're talking about Trump. No, he would not have hearing damage. He got shot in the ear. The loud concussion is at the barrel of the weapon and when the bullet goes supersonic. Neither one of those happened near his ear. They were 140 yards away. He's fine. Here's another one here. Just going through them since we had the time. There was a YouTube channel showing how hard it would be to hit a target at that distance with that particular weapon and ammo. I don't know if he's talking about JFK or Trump.
From everything I've seen, you obviously you're going to give us a much better breakdown of this than I would. But any experienced like gunsman I've heard talk about that said it was a pretty fucking easy shot to make. And
he shouldn't have been aiming for the head. He should have been aiming for the body.
Yeah, I wrote him saying like not just that, he even didn't have a scope on. He had iron sights as well.
I saw that. I don't know if that's true or not because they haven't released any like the weapon yet. But this is the thing. Like a headshot, you're talking an 8-inch. Really, it's an 8-inch target, right? Really 6-inch at 140 yards. That is, I mean, he's got to have a lot of adrenaline pumping. He's got to be nervous. He's never done anything like this before, obviously. So that lends it. He should have been hitting for a torso shot. A torso shot at that distance, no problem. Like you can get anyone to do that shot in 10 minutes. Well, maybe not anyone. You know what I mean? There's always outliers.
Yeah.
But a headshot, 6 to 8 inches at that distance under stress, that is a difficult shot. And the reality is he hit him in the ear. So if you were shooting paper, he's in the black, it's good. Like you'd count that, right? Like that's, if he would have hit him in the torso, that'd have been it. Trump's too old. Torso shot. Like, yeah. Anyway, I'm just trying to catch up through the comments here. We live in wild times, man. Everything's on fire and nobody knows where it's going.
Yeah.
So this one kind of says all the people on stage were Secret Service. As I understand it, they were not Secret Service. The woman freaking out was Homeland Security. I believe another one was as well. I don't think as I had heard it broken down on, was it Sean Ryan with Prince? And he did a really good breakdown because he's been in contact with Trump. I don't think any of the Secret Service principals were on him up there. Like they only gave him 4 people. And so they're out handling whole gaggle. They're trying to organize everything. It was a shit show. It was a security shit show. It should have never happened.
I think the 88 music 88 said a supersonic bullet that close to the head can cause hearing damage. I'm not being stupid here to say like a bullet doesn't stay supersonic. It breaks the sound barrier thing. Does it?
Yeah, so it's just the boom. When it breaks supersonic, it's the boom. And a supersonic bullet, it's not making noise the whole time. Yeah. Once a bullet breaks the sound barrier, that's the initial boom.
That's where the concussion is.
Yeah, the initial break, which will be, 5 feet in front of the barrel or whatever. Like it's, or 20 feet or 50. It depends on the round, depends on all these different things. But it's not going to be 140 yards away. It will have already broken the supersonic barrier. It's not breaking it as it goes continuously. It's already moving faster than it, so it doesn't make that sound again. And then Given Fox says the woman was the head Secret Service agent in charge. I haven't read that or seen that anywhere. Maybe that could very well be true. All those things are jumbled. And if that's the case, then that makes it even more because there was only 4 agents on there. There was only 4. And if she is the Secret Service, if she is the agent in charge, she should be tried. That is criminal. The incompetence knows no bounds. So, yeah.
See, the reason I sort of lean towards it being a real event and not like staged, like some people were saying, is it's more what Donald Trump Jr.'s reaction the next day. When he was at the rally the next day.
Yeah.
I just simply don't believe Donald Trump Jr. is as good an actor to to hold that sort of emotion that he had when he was looking at his dad like that. You know, you could tell where he was crying looking at Donald Trump that that was a guy that was scared that he almost lost his father the day before. You got a pretty face, Dave. That's a pretty face.
Yeah, trying to read. My eyes are shut from the day from the golf cart. Given Fox says he said she got the counter snipers flown in. Again, I haven't read that, man. I haven't seen that. From everything that I've seen that's been debriefed, that they were supposed to be more than just that team. An outdoor event like that should have way more than just one team. But again, you know, maybe that's what's come out now. Very possible. It's very possible. I'm not saying it's not. I'm saying it doesn't make sense. And the last credible report I heard, again, I'm sticking to, is there were 4 people on site. She was actually Homeland Security.
Music
could definitely be wrong.
Again said no one's talking about the woman taking videos sitting behind. You're on Rumble as well, man. Good to see people on Rumble getting involved in the comments. You're right. This an interesting thing here. Someone turned around to me and said, well, someone wouldn't have carried on filming. You know, if they'd have ducked to some of that. I 100% don't believe that. In modern day society, people will put themselves in incredibly dangerous positions to get stuff for the gram. Secondly, the people all like people have said about how oddly people reacted in the crowd behind. I don't think anybody truly knows how they're going to react in a crisis until something happens around them. But what I do think is interesting about the woman that filmed behind, how come we haven't seen that motherfucking video?
So there's an easy answer to that. The video was taken by the FBI when they took over the scene, and they're taking all. That's what they do. It's a crime scene. That we're going to take all the video, anything posted online, we're going to need you to remove. Blah 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 blah. Unless it's already so prolific that there's nothing really they can do about it.
So in a few
they did
years
it on
time,
January 6th. What's that?
That's going to be Trump's Zapruder film in a few years time.
Yeah. So it's the whole thing. And as far as her just filming, like people, I've seen a lot of people say that like people weren't freaking out if you're getting shot at and the concussion of the blah blah blah. No, man, most gunshots sound like fireworks at a distance. They're just little pops. Like it's not what it is. And if you've never been shot at or you've been downrange, you're not used to the sound. When people started taking hits, that's when people started panicking and freaking out. You know, he goes down. People are watching, but they don't know what's going on. And people in traumatic situations tend to freeze. Right? They just kind of do what they're going to do. They might crouch into a ball. They might freeze like a deer and just stand there. You never know. Like people never know, especially if they've never been under anything like that. They don't just react.
I have an interest in it. It's not quite as dramatic as a shooting, but I have an interesting story that I will tell in the briefest form possible. I was traveling back from London to Liverpool on the rush hour train when I was playing in my band years ago, and it was a full train, so two people got up. Me and a guy I was with rushed to get sat down because we had a long train journey ahead of us and no seat. As we were sat there having a talk, underneath his seat there was a bag. It was during the time where there was lots of controlled explosions going on in the UK for bins and things like that. You know, we took away a load of the stuff because we were a high terror threat. We pulled the bag out from underneath his seat, and inside the bag there was a load of papers. It was like an essay on martyrdom, and it was plans on how to make a mercury triggered device. We gave those to the train driver. He shouted at us for not giving them before before the train left the station. I shouted at him saying, well, of course the train was fucking moving when we found it. Then instantly he said, well, you can't tell anyone because you're going to cause panic. And I said, I don't care. I'm going to get my friends as far away from this as possible. And this is what I mean about you don't know how your brain works in something, because obviously we were on I don't know, in my head the American trains are like those sort of tin things like there, I don't know if British trains are the same as American trains, but we have like large windows all the way down, sort of like big windows down the carriages. And the first thing I thought was like in between the carriages, there's like a metal tin sort of thing between them, which is like its own sort of contained box. And on those, the doors only have small windows in. And the first thing I thought was, I need to get my friends and we need to go and stand in that, because if it goes off and the train derails, it means we're not going to get dragged down the side of the train. And it was a strange position to be in. And if I'm honest, I didn't think my brain was capable of thinking like that in an emergency situation. But long story short, the train missed all the stops, stopped at a small rural train station. Everybody got off. Nothing ever was said about it. Nobody got questioned or anything. There was something weird about what was in that bag. But anyway, have you noticed anything else, Dave, while I was regaling you with my bomb discoveries?
I just got flooded with messages to my X account from a bunch of porn chicks.
Nice.
Not really. So I just started reporting like there was a little flash of them. So I was sitting there reporting them as spam because you've told me that story. It's a very good story, and it makes sense that they wouldn't have told anyone else. They're not trying to encourage copycats or let them know that it was successful or figured out, because a bomb, how it's put together, tells a lot about who did it, where they were trained, how they learned these things. It's craft, right? So if you're technically proficient. I don't know, man. We're in some sketchy times, bro. Everything feels like it's on fire. Everything feels like it's on fire. Well, because it is. Here in the U.S., I don't know what comes next. I know in my little corner of the world, I'm not really too worried about anything being disrupted. I think everything where I'm at anyway is going to be just fine. But if you lived in like Chicago or any major metropolitan area, you need to get out in the U.S. Like you need to get out.
From what I hear about Chicago, will you notice? Because that seems pretty bad already.
Yes, it can get worse. It can always get worse.
From what I heard, even if there's like a zombie outbreak, it'll take 3 days for people to realize.
Maybe. Dude, last time I went through Chicago, did I tell that story on here? I was coming back from a thing up north with a dude, and we decided that we were pretty heavily armed too. And we're like, wow, because we came back from a training thing, and we're like, do we go through Chicago? Do we go around Chicago? Going around Chicago adds a lot of time. At that time, the maps look good. It's like, we can make it through Chicago. Because we've done it before and had no problems in traffic. And of course, there were wrecks, and it just added like 3.5 hours on. And I think the drive around was like an hour and a half. So we definitely lost on that gamble. And I watched a homeless guy take a crap over the median, like propped up on the concrete median barrier between us. Like his just ass hanging off. And it's just like there was a pile. Like he does this all the time. He does this all the time. Like this isn't a one-time thing. There's a big pile of shit. And apparently no one does anything about it. They don't clean it up. They don't make them stop. It's just every day. It's shitting time. You know? Shitting time. Middle of traffic on both lanes, and it's moving so slow. He just walks between the cars to go back. And there's like this nice like building over here to the left of where this shit is, like over this overpass and up here. And it's, I guaranteed like the top floor of that's like $4 million penthouse or whatever. And it looks right down on this guy taking a shit every day, building a 2-foot pile.
I like that. That's like a great equalizer.
Is it? Is that what it is? It's equalizer. It's
like
a lot of things, but I don't know that it's.
But look what I can do to your view.
Yeah. I don't know. Man. It's something. I don't even know. It feels like everything has the potential to crumble around us. Right? Because here's the other thing. This is honestly what bothers me as well. Let's say for the U.S. anyway, you guys on your islands, like you're fucked. Like that's just is what it is. Like I wish you and Ollie the best. And if Ollie them need to run, I always tell them like, dude, you can come here. I can get you out of there. But here, I'm also worried. Let's say Trump does get in and win. I don't know who Trump is anymore since he got shot. Like, we don't understand the psychology of Trump. And what I mean by that is we knew who he was before, right? Like the billionaire braggadocious, likes to be in the spotlight. He's kind of funny. Whatever. That guy got no problems with. This new guy, I don't know enough about him. He is not the same guy today as he was before he got nicked in the ear, because they tried to kill him in front of the sun. You know that's that goes through his head at night, every night. They tried to kill me in front of my son.
Do you think that's
I don't know. I don't know what's good. I don't know what he is now. I don't know.
No, but that
JD Vance pick was something else too, man. Nobody saw that coming.
I kind of like him.
He and I look similar.
Yeah, I kind of like him.
He's a handsome man.
I thought his roasting of the UK was fucking hilarious.
I didn't see
that. It was hilarious, and it was one of those things where you're there going, "Yep, yep, yep." But yeah, do you think there's a point of thing with Trump? Because considering like this is the second time round, so I'm sure there are people that are within the Democratic Party whose name probably rhymes with Hillary Minton. I think that she's probably sat there going, "I told you, motherfuckers, we should have killed him the first time round."
Yep.
But because he'd already been through like 2 election cycles, he won one, went for re-election, didn't get elected for whatever reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think the fact that now they've tried to assassinate him has given that sort of, oh shit, the rules have changed, you didn't do this before?
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm telling you. Like, he's going ahead and he's putting his head down every night, thinking they tried to kill me in front of my son. What is that doing to his psychology? Because he's a king. Billionaires are kings, man. They operate in a different kind of world. They have real power under themselves. And what is he going to do when he gets in charge? He picked JD Vance. That's an interesting choice. Because the one thing you can take away from JD, 2 things I would say. He's highly intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a fighter. Like, he has no problem scrapping. He has no problem throwing down in the middle of a street. He's not going to back down at all. And that's the guy Trump picked.
Big detractor of Trump as well, wasn't he?
I think that's even a better move. Like, because it allows all the never Trumpers to come home. A lot of people were like that in the beginning, right? But then he did a good job. And then we had Biden and we had Kamala and we've had all this insanity. And now it's like, are you still a never Trumper? And I thought his explanation, he's like, I'm not the same man I was then. I have a wife, I have kids, I've grown. That was a long time ago. And it was. People change, they grow. I think the biggest thing with JD Vance that scares people is Peter Thiel, venture capitalist, known intelligence guy.
Mm-hmm. I've heard the name. I don't know who he is.
Yeah, he's venture capitalist. Big ties to big tech and the intelligence.
By venture capitalist, I mean, I take it you mean he sells tents and mountaineering equipment.
No, not adventure. Venture. Yeah, no, he has all this money that nobody really understands how it came from, and he seeds money. And it always
sounds like that. That sounds like you would have needed an adventure to get that.
It's something. He's an interesting. Peter Thiel is also an interesting cat. The way I look at all the different conspiracy and intelligence communities, they're not all on the same side. The CIA has parts of the CIA that doesn't work together. CIA doesn't get along on all their ideas, let alone does anyone else. And there's definitely like this death cult, right, of the Clintons and these other people that are these child molesting, demon worshiping, whatever the hell they are. And the only thing I can take away is if they want this guy dead, I'm going to go stand by his side. I may not like him, but if they want him dead, if they don't like him, enemy of my enemy, right? Like, this is where it is. Someone put that the reason he picked Vance is Vance, and it was given 0 fucks. Vance follows chain of command. That is good for Trump. There's truth in that. Yeah, he's a Marine. We're going to see where it's going to go. That was an interesting choice that he picked. I think when I saw him pick Vance, I saw him pick someone who's willing to go to some outside extreme measures that nobody may saw that's coming. Like if Trump gets into office and disbands the FBI, I could believe that. I could believe it if he did it at the Central Intelligence Agency. Mm-hmm. I don't know what's coming. I don't think anyone does, and I think they're all nervous. I think there's going to be another attempt on Trump's life if there hasn't already been. And they just haven't talked about it because they wouldn't try and encourage that, right? I don't know if we're going to have an election. I don't.
Yeah, I'm surprised it hadn't happened already. I thought there would have at least been somebody would have tried something ridiculous during his presidency. Just some rogue, purple-headed fucking loser. Mods Mayhem has clearly had enough of Alien Addict and is trying to get the whole fucking shebang shut down.
Yeah, apparently he wants to burn it. She's Indian.
I think she's unburdened from what has been.
God, she's so fucking stupid. It's unbelievable, man. It's unbelievable. Like, it's comical.
Have you heard her explain space?
I've heard several of her speeches run together, and none of them make any sense.
I need to find this.
Yeah, I don't. It feels honestly very often that this isn't real because there's no way anyone that close to being fully mentally handicapped could be the vice president of the United States. Yet we have a president who's shitting his pants. And here recently has apparently grown a foot taller. It's just all so wild. It's all so wild.
I heard this, strangely enough, today.
The cloud storage. God, I saw that. Oh my God.
It's just incredible.
Dude,
I'm gonna
it is a level of stupid that even my 4-year-olds would look at and go, what?
Right.
What?
I hope everybody's ready to get
we're all going to be dumber after this. We're all losing IQ points right now.
Are you necessarily keeping those private files in some file cabinet that's locked in the basement of the house? It's on your laptop, and it's then therefore up here in this cloud that exists above us, right?
Up here in this cloud that exists above us, right?
It's no longer in a physical place.
Bro.
Unfortunately, they cut that off where she said it's in the sky. Yeah, she could be the leader of the free world. She could be the leader of the free world. What they've done is they've took a guy with Alzheimer's and they've managed to find somebody more retarded.
The thing, like, how do I say this? So understand, like, my wife is a professional person. Like, I respect women who do professional jobs, who are in C-suite positions, who are intelligent and capable and fucking work hard. And they genuinely do have to put up with bullshit from guys who are pissed because they get passed over or whatnot. I've seen all that. I have a unique fucking side row seat to it. And I say that to try and cover about what I'm about to say. She must give the best head in the fucking world. She must suck dick.
She was one of Diddy's
at a
girls,
level.
Wasn't she?
What? She was a fucking Montel Williams girl.
Yeah.
Who blew the fucking mayor of LA, who got another job, who blew an NBA player, who got her a job at Biomedical, who blew another guy, who got to
She was
fucking appointed
fucking
DA. Like, she
unburdening
must be
loads is what she was doing. Unburdening loads.
Dude, she not only that, like that's got to be some next level, universal, galactic level shit. Like she's not pretty, right? Like she looks like a fucking horse.
She was pretty. She was
Nah,
pretty.
she's always had that weird long face and looks
No,
like
that's
you
not
want to
an
feed her
idea.
a carrot or something. Those fucking teeth. But all I can think is like it has like with Judge Joe
I can
Brown.
only think for that type of given
I gotta
head,
pull it up.
I can only think that those teeth must retract. Like you'll like go down inside the jaw.
I don't even know, bro. I don't even know. So can you find the judge? Like Mike, I can't do it right now. Can you find the Judge Joe Brown talking about Kamala Harris? It's an interview.
Yeah.
Can you search that? That is some next level shit, dude. Fucking, she blew this dude so well. He bought her a brand new BMW, like i5 series or whatever. Like, you've got to be amazing, right? Like, it's fucking incredible. Like, you became the vice president of the free world. You might be the president because your kinky sex shit is so on point. I don't know if I should be appalled and think our society should be burned to the ground or be impressed by the fucking work ethic, right? Like, she obviously perfected one aspect of her life. Like, she let everything else go. Reading, writing, arithmetic, speech, personality. But she can suck a mean dick, you know? Like, I don't know. I don't know. You remember when everyone talked shit about Melania Trump because she had took topless photos when she was a model? And everyone's like, you're a whore. You're a whore. And I was like, well, she's a model. Two, she seems to be a pretty classy and kind woman. And then we got Kamala, who is admittedly well known and was a Montel Williams girl well enough in his menage a
I can't
trois
find that
fucking
big.
group
It's
I'll
part of
find
like an 18-minute interview. So I don't know where it is.
There's a short clip of it that's fucking golden. Anyway, anyone needs to go look up the Judge Joe Brown talking shit about Kamala Harris. Like he lays it out because he knew her. He knew her when she was coming up. He had his TV show. He was aware of who she was. She was traveling in those same celebrity circles, fucking one dude after another dude. And he's like, she just fucked her whole way to get exactly what she wanted.
I am giving zero.
That's the next T-shirt. Tell me we're making that a T-shirt.
Kamala throat goat.
It's just a fucking goat.
I can't promise you that's going to be on a T-shirt, Dave. But what I can promise you is this is not the last time Lee is going to use the term throat goat.
Yeah.
Today.
I don't know, man. I don't know. We're in trouble. We're in trouble. Like, not just us, the UK, Europe in general is in trouble. France and Spain ain't doing too great.
No, Spain's protesting now, aren't they?
Yeah, right now. There's shit going on everywhere. No one's just talking about because they don't care.
Yeah, people. I think that's the thing. People seem to think about whatever's going on in their particular realm is isolated to just them, but it's fucking everywhere. Not. This is it's one of the crazy things that in the UK you constantly get the left wing blaming Brexit for the inflation. You go, oh, that's great, but it's fucking inflation everywhere, motherfucker. So how's that have anything to do with fucking Brexit now?
I saw one where Muslim radicals attacked a Russian boxer in Russia, took out his eye. The knife. Yeah, like I was like, fucking Russian. Like,
Jesus.
Yeah, so this isn't an isolated thing. Tim Pool threw it out 9 minutes ago. Someone posted soldiers, like a la soldiers attack white British soon in your city. Tim Pool's like, what the fuck is going on in the UK? You guys eat beans for breakfast and slices of tomato. Like, what the fuck is going on?
No, beans are a breakfast food. You guys have just got it wrong.
Beans are not a breakfast food. Not by a long shot.
Bacon
is a breakfast food.
I meant to take a picture of my tea today because I had mushy peas on it. I was going to explain to you what mushy peas are. Mushy peas are the best. Mushy peas are the best.
See, I was trying to figure out when I can come out and visit you guys. Now that everything's fucking going weird there, you need to come back out here. It's just better here.
I think we should come back out. I mean, that's the thing. Me going to the UK is also a holiday for me, Dave, because I don't live in the UK. So it's kind of like both of us have a little holiday. However, I fucking hate being in the UK. I hate it. So
I don't think I'll have much fun either. You need to talk Ollie into you guys coming back out here. We'll have fun.
Yeah. Well, we need people to like, share, and subscribe, and start listening on the audio show, so we can go and do some fucking cool stuff. We go Roswell, and I can go Vegas.
Go to Roswell. Well, I got family in Roswell.
Yeah,
allegedly.
Is Vegas far from Roswell? Could we go?
Yes.
Could we do both? Oh,
things are far in the West, man. Things are far apart. Far apart. We could, there's things we could do. Like if we thought about, we could come up with some fun shit. That's not a problem.
Mm-hmm.
But we got to be smart about it. Honestly, here from a base of operations, I mean, just also from kind of a safety point, Tennessee's fucking kicking ass. We're good to go here. If we wanted to do something paranormal, I got a bunch more places. There's a famous prison not too far from me we could rent out, like a big one.
I'd like to do that hospital we spoke about.
There's 2 of them. I can get us in 2 different ones.
Yeah, I think we could fuck with Ollie in the hospital.
No, we'll stick him in one of the cooling racks, slide him in there, shut the door.
Next time we do some of that, I think we need a drone as well.
I have a drone.
Yeah. I think it would be quite cool to drone it around a haunted hospital.
I have lots of those. I just didn't get it there. Given Zero Fox to respond to you, I think I messaged. I said pull up the tweet I DM'd you about Kamala. It wouldn't play. Maybe 10 to 12 hours drive. No, maybe. Yeah, see, I'm not doing that. We're not powering that through the West, man.
What's that for Roswell to Vegas?
Yeah,
that's a long way.
And the thing is, if you want to see some crazy shit, like going out west in the desert, yeah, we can do that. But you can do it here too. I live near a government lab. If you didn't need your power nap, we could have gone out that night and just stared at the sky.
Yeah, I'm. Do you know what? I forgot to tell you this as well. I'll tell you the story really quickly before we wrap up. I probably shouldn't necessarily just blurt it out on air, but here we are. So my son saw a UFO when he was on holiday. I'm not going to say he was on holiday. He explained the whole thing to me today, as best as 7-year-old could do. But he's really observant. So he was saying it was 3 red dots in the sky. He said they seem to be connected in a triangle sort of shape. He said, I told Mum it was a spaceship. She said, no, it must just be a plane. Then the sky went green.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Well, that's definitely something unknown. What did his mum say?
I said, did everybody else see it? He said, well, he said the rest of the family. I said, yeah. He said, everyone see it. He said, yeah, everyone saw it, but nobody spoke about it again.
That's a common response when you see something. Like that. Why didn't you film it? Because most people never want to talk about it again.
Yeah,
it's such a profound, terrifying thing that they're just we're done now.
Yeah,
that leads far more credence to it. That's for sure.
I do love it that secretly he didn't even realize, but his response in his head was, well, fuck you guys, because Dad's gonna listen.
Yes, he will. Yeah. We had family in town today, and I was riding around the neighborhood in a golf cart, and someone's looking at the houses and are these haunted? And I was like, well, I don't think all of them are. I was except for that motherfucker right there. That one's haunted. It keeps having people buy and sell. And I know 2 doctors that bought it, husband and wife doctors, and they're people of science, and they sold the house. And I was asking him one night, I was like, did you sell it because it was haunted? And he's like, we're doctors, man. We're people of science. We can't live with something like that. And we can't admit that it's real. It was just best that we take the loss and move on. I was like, He's like, I couldn't stand it anymore.
It's incredible. I think
It is.
I think we need to do we need to get the footage, because we do have the footage of what we did in the hospital, not in the hospital, in the prison.
Halloween is
And
coming up again.
yeah, yeah. The we'll do another cut of that, because it wasn't done justice last time.
Nah,
I think
kept all
purposely.
the bad angles of us. Made us
Yeah,
look
it wasn't us. It wasn't us that did it. It was someone that was supposed to be doing it for us. And I believe they purposely left it till after Halloween to hurt us as well. So, but there was some cool stuff. There was cool stuff on that we missed, like the if you guys watch that, it didn't even have the spirit box stuff that we captured in it. And that blew my fucking mind. Like the spirit box and having context correct answers to a situation was just fucking stupid. That's stupid. If all of the if the idea is that that's just ripping words from airwaves and spitting them out, it just makes no sense. It makes no sense. And this is coming from someone that doesn't believe in ghosts. Like I believe there's an afterlife. I believe we go somewhere else. I don't believe we can choose to stay. I just don't think that's the rules. So I don't necessarily believe that whatever these things are, they're like spirits. But it's fucking something.
It's something. It's something that'll communicate. And we called it out for not being what it was pretending to be, and that's when things changed.
Yeah, it was interesting.
And I'm glad you guys got that opportunity. Like that was.
I am. Yeah, I genuinely thought we were going to go somewhere. I thought nothing was going to happen. I thought we were going to eat snacks. That's what I thought was going to go around. I didn't for 1 second thought we would. We saw cooler stuff there than what's an entire series of fucking Zach Bragan or whatever his name is.
See, it hurts me a little that you had so little faith that I wouldn't deliver.
No, totally. It's not lack of faith in you. I just didn't believe that stuff was real.
Oh, it's real. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying.
That was, yeah.
I also guaranteed lights in the sky that Ollie got to see.
Yeah. Look, I was still settling back into my own soul, Dave. You know.
I don't need to hear these excuses, man.
It wasn't quite sealed. You know, like you know when you.
I do know.
you know, like when you take the covers off the cushions for the couch and you fit them back on, they don't quite fit properly. There's baggy bits. They need to stretch themselves back in. That's kind of the way my meat sack was with my soul. But anyway, we're approaching like an hour and a half off here. We will start to wrap it up now. I'm fucking tired. I've been up since 5 o'clock this morning because we did the interview with Bart Sobral. That interview with Bart Sobral, you will be able to go and listen to right now. It is up on our podcast platform. I implore you to do it. It's not going to be up on YouTube. It's not going to be up on Rumble. It's not going to be up on X. This is audio exclusive because we want to start doing some more unique audio content. And we need you guys that listen to us on YouTube to move over to the audio and catch stuff there, because there will be stuff you don't see. There's going to be stuff that is, I mean, you know, you say Rumble's a free speech platform, but like podcasts is still the Wild West. That's still the safest place to do shit. So you're gonna find us, we do stuff and we only put it up on podcasts. It's just the way it's going to be. This our live streams will always be here, but certain content will not make its way onto the video feed. Bart's a great guy. I mean, to come off the back of doing Rogan, realistically, he doesn't need to do some of the smaller podcasts and stuff like that. So for him to give us 3 interviews in as many months was pretty special from him, and I've got a lot of respect for that man. He's a good guy. So please go and listen to it. Hit me up on X at Real Alien Addict and tell me what you want to, like, what you think about it. You can also hit me up with guest ideas as well. We want to start getting some more guests on, especially for the audio shows. So if you have people in mind, DM me at Real Alien Addict. Tell me the people you want on. If you can possibly do it as well, hit me with an @ or something, some sort of link that I can try and get in touch with them rather than just a name would help me out horrendously. But yeah, we've got some plans. Hopefully we'll have some big guests on before the end of the year, but that's kind of all we can say. Good man. I'm glad you're doing that. That kind of makes up for the fact you tried to get us cancelled before.
He's not on X.
Yeah. So just make sure you do it on the podcast because the podcast really helps us. And give the show a share. That's the other thing. If you can't help us any other ways, just hit the share button because if you like it, chances are your friends are going to like it.
Yep.
Other than that, we'll be back next weekend with more shows. I hope you enjoyed this week's content. Again, I hope you enjoyed the Bart Sabrell interview that I'm going to continue to plug all weekend for the rest of the weekend and week because I want to make sure I jam it in your ears. Other than that, stay safe, stay blessed. All those other things that cool YouTubers say at the end of videos. Peace out. Woo. Oh, hang on.